Hello again, everyone. Welcome again to our I&D video series, where we look to speak to our key client partners around how they put the candidate and person at the heart of everything they do to drive greater diversity and inclusion in 2021. Lorien are a technology specialist recruitment solutions provider. We've got a proud 40-year heritage. We work with all sizes of customers to deliver MSP, RPO, and total talent recruitment solutions. And today I'm joined by Isabel, Jess, and Mark from Nationwide Building Society's Early Tech Career Team. Nationwide's tech development programme aims to kickstart careers and training in IT for students, graduates, career changers, and returners. Thank you to all for joining me today. It's nice to do a panel discussion on one of these instead of one-on-one. To jump in straight away with quite a direct question, how effective have you all found reskilling, upskilling, and returner programs to be so far for you?
Early Tech Careers at Nationwide has been running for about 5 years. It started off as the technology development program, which you mentioned, and which was sort of primarily career changers, people from different backgrounds, not just IT graduates, internals, externals, and the purpose being to grow technical capability in the shortest period of time possible. So it wasn't like your traditional grad rotation program. So that's where it started. And we've got quite a lot of success, so we can bore you with lots of stats later, but I won't bore you now. The second part, though, over the last year and a half, we've expanded broader across early tech careers. So we're also looking at reskilling as well as starting people off on their careers. So I'll let the others talk about the successes, but that's kind of the journey we've taken for the last 5 years.
Yeah, and I think so one of my key focuses has been, if you look at returner programs, so our industrial placement scheme, where students will come from universities, do a year out in industry, and obviously we hope that they will then join us for the start of their career once they've finished their degree. So we started off with just 3 placement students a couple of years ago. One of those came back and is on our main technology development program now. And last year we had an increase with 5 industrial placement students, all of which will be joining us in September 2021. So that is a really good kind of way to bring people in at the start of their journeys and get them brought in to Nationwide, and that opportunity to come back and join, the start of their long-term career.
Couple of things that we're doing internally as well, just to kind of give colleagues the opportunity to get into technology. And we're running a workshop called Code Explorer. So it's a 1-day, full-day workshop on Python, just to give colleagues the opportunity to see if it's something that they kind of want to pursue further. And I think this is really good for colleagues who may have gone down a different career path, and then kind of give them the opportunity to kind of explore that pathway. And we've advertised that and had a huge number of sign-ups and a lot of interest. So it's really great to see so many colleagues interested in getting involved with that. And then we're also running a 6-week reskilling program called Get Into Tech. So we're currently running the first one at the moment, but kind of planning on running it 4 times throughout the year. And again, we've had lots of interest internally, people kind of registering. So more to kind of come along with that. So that's a really good program to kind of do a bit more of a deep dive into coding and more kind of technical elements as well. So really good to see interest from a lot of colleagues in both of those programs that we're running.
This is really important to highlight, is because we're talking about inclusion and diversity here, this isn't just Nationwide sort of prides itself in doing the right thing. That's kind of our strategy, one of our values. But the key thing to notice here is the reason for doing this over this sustained period is outcome. It's commercially sensible. So strategically, we want to reflect our membership. So we need to be as inclusive and diverse as we can be. Also, within our own internal population, we want to grow everybody from every demographic. So for example, sort of 87% of our employees across our viewpoint surveys, our employee survey, think we value inclusivity. Well, if we don't promote that and do that in our talent programs, where else are we going to do it? And also, of course, within the TDP in the last 5 years, we've got a very high proportion of ethnically diverse groups applying and succeeding. We need to do a bit more work on the female intakes, but we are working on that. So simple examples being at our assessment centres, they're 50% female, 50% male, rather than just first come, first serve. And actually 80% of people that generally get through the programme stay with Nationwide. So there is real business value, not just doing the right thing. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I think it's so important, Mark, to talk about the business case for what you're doing as well. Yes, we want to be doing these things because they are the right thing to do, but I think it is also really important to tag that back into the business impact of these things. From what you were saying, Jess and Isabel, I've got a couple of follow-up questions, if that's all right. The first one, which way should I order them? The first one is, we've been doing a bit of work with Nationwide on internal mobility, and I'd be interested to see how you've seen so far in some of the courses, some of the taster sessions you've done, whether how current employees recognise that they may have the potential to be good at tech, and is there something that you guys are working on that helps identify those kind of attributes in people that may not have identified it in themselves, perhaps?
Yeah, I think we're at the very start of that, really, and we have been promoting the sessions through things like our Women in Tech network, and that is because we can put on talks of people that are leaders in technology and maybe from the female side of things, to inspire the rest of the population at Nationwide already, so they think of tech as a possible option that they can go down into. And Code Explorer really is the start of that, of just saying, you know, you're not getting stuck into anything really technical. You haven't got to sign up for days of training. This is just a taster session to see, do you like it or not? And that's, to be honest, one of the ways that we're trying to give people just a chance to dip their toe in and see if it is something for them before it becomes a big, scary kind of technical route that they've got to go down.
Cool. Yeah, ideal. Letting them have that opportunity to kind of see what it would be like without having to do anything too formal sounds ideal. And if I can ask you my second follow-up is a question, Isabel, not to put you on the spot too much, but when you get people who come into your program straight out of education, anecdotally, I know that actually when you put them on tech development programs, they become revenue generating and actually key components of their teams quite quickly. Have you guys found the same?
Yeah, so everyone who joins a technology development program will do an academy with QA, and basically the kind of purpose of the academy is to put everyone on the same level when they finish and then go into the teams, the kind of technology teams that they'll be working in. So that when they complete the academy, they can start kind of adding value straight away. So yeah, I would say absolutely. The academy kind of puts everyone on the same level, and it means they're able to kind of add value.
Great.
I think Isabel's hit the nail right on the head. Speed to competency, right, is what we're talking about, and capability. So we've adapted our program to give everybody the same chance to start with, because you could argue somebody coming into our society with an IT degree has got a bit of an advantage, haven't they, to start with? But experience shows that sometimes they've also got a lack of corporate understanding, or they're a bit naive about how long it takes things to happen in a big process, or reason why there's controls around governance and regulation. Very important, because it's security of members' money and data. But somebody who's a bit more experienced, a career changer, doesn't need to make that journey. They just need to tech upskill. So I would be very careful about saying certain areas of the demographic are going to get more valuable quicker. I think that's a myth. I mean, Jess and Isabel, you manage a lot of these TDPers who've recently been promoted. Would you say there's a difference, or am I being a bit directive?
No, there's definitely not a difference in speed to giving value, and it comes from both sides, as you say. So those coming from education in computer science degrees or maths degrees, they might understand the language that's being spoken a little bit more. But then we've had lots of teachers, we've had electricians change career, we've had all sorts of different backgrounds, and actually they are better at talking to the business, being able to reach out and speak to people. So although they might not have the technical knowledge, their confidence to kind of speak to others and get stuck in is much higher. So from two sides of it, they both have, no matter if you're coming from education or from a different career, there is ways for you to get stuck in and feel, you know, part of the team and that you've got something to add.
We assess for appetite for tech and wanting to learn and wanting to develop and improve and self-drive. You don't always get that from graduates. You get that from everybody who wants a career in tech.
Goes back to what we look for at assessment centre, is that kind of motivation, because ultimately that is kind of what's really going to help someone succeed.
Fantastic, and that's kind of the answers that I was hoping you guys would say. In some of my previous conversations as part of this series, we've talked a lot about neurodiversity, and actually people from different backgrounds bring different perspectives. They bring more creativity, they bring more belonging and more engagement levels. So fantastic to know that no matter the background, you know, you can hit the ground, you know, running fairly quickly, and these programs do provide that evidence. Moving on to my last question today, why do you believe apprenticeships and reskilling initiatives are so effective at boosting diversity within technology in particular?
I think apprenticeships give everyone that level playing field, something that we've mentioned about already. But because you're earning whilst you're learning, literally. So you're going to come in and be paid a salary at the same time of being able to do the studies and learn on the job from people around you. So absolutely, it gives more people the opportunity to study because they are getting that salary alongside it.
I think especially those in society who, you know, may not be, you know, able to go or afford to go to university, an apprenticeship, a tech apprenticeship kind of gives them that opportunity, as Jess just said, earn whilst they also learn on the job. So yeah, I think it kind of opens up doors to those who, you know, may not just kind of have the financial means to go to university.
Great, I think that's so true. I think just opening that door to candidates that have non-traditional backgrounds into the world of tech is so important, particularly when we think about the question previous. There aren't enough technology candidates for all the new and emerging skills that are out there, and so when we go back to neurodiversity, different backgrounds, different life experiences, we look for creativity and we look for, you know, detail-oriented people in tech. So yeah, people from those non-traditional backgrounds and opening the door for them can only be a good thing. Did you have anything to add, Mark, before I finish?
No, only to say that it's another step on the journey. So a very simple example is we've got the Institute of Technology opening up in Swindon in the end of the year, and that is a vehicle which aligns apprenticeships to employer needs. So there's that natural synergy of joining academia to real work practice, because apprenticeships have always been, even before tech, about applying learning to the workplace. So why wouldn't we continue that and just evolve that as we move forward?
Brilliant. Thank you so much to all of you for your time today. I'm really appreciative when I know how busy you are. It's fantastic to hear about how much Nationwide are doing in this space. Clearly, this is a fantastic opportunity for candidates to enter the world of tech. If I could rewind the clock, maybe it's something I'd even look at doing, to be honest. It's great to hear all about it. So thank you all very much. I look forward to chatting to you all again soon.